hey there, Marie Greene from Olive Knits here, and for today's Knitting Rescue 911, we're talking about edge stitches, specifically when our edges get too loose. Now, a loose edge causes a couple of problems. First, it's just not super tidy looking, and if you want that to be your raw edge and you're going to see it later, you want it to look nice and crisp. And if those stitches are too loose, it's not going to have that nice tidy look. But beyond aesthetics, a loose edge also makes it harder to pick these stitches up later. So if you're going to be working a cardigan and you're going to need to pick these stitches up, or anything where you might be picking up to put on another kind of edge, the tidier and more firm that tension is on that edge stitch, the better your results are going to be. Because if you have a loose edge, and you can kind of see here, there's a lot of space. Look at that. There's a lot of space in those edge stitches. And that's going to put you off on the wrong foot right off the bat, because you're contending with this looseness to start with. So you kind of have to overcompensate. So to save yourself that headache, I want to show you a trick. What I do is when I work the first stitch of every row when I'm working flat, and I do this almost always. I can't think of an occasion where I don't, although I hate to say always or never because it seems like there's an exception to everything, but I always work my first stitch nice and tight. And to do that, I'm going to insert my needle, wrap the stitch, but then after I pull it off, I'm going to pull that extra tight, so much tighter than you think that you need to, and then work the remainder of the row with normal tension. Now, it's going to take a few rows for me to get these to tighten up because I've already been working them super loose. So let me show you this on another example. Look what a difference these edge stitches have. There's not nearly as much space between the stitches. It looks much tidier. Now, when I go to pick these up later, I'm going to have a much crisper edge, and it's going to make my pickup look so slick. Having that nice, clean, tidy edge from working that first stitch nice and tight also just makes the side edge look nicer. So even if I'm not picking it up, that's okay. It's still going to look a lot nicer, and it's going to create a more structured edge, and that's what you want. Insert your needle into the first stitch, wrap it like normal. It's after you pull it off that's the real secret, and you're going to pull tight. Even if it looks a little goofy and it looks like it's pulling out of shape, it's going to take a few rows of doing it that way to start whipping that edge into shape. Don't be afraid to do it. And then just work across the rest of the row with your normal tension. And then every time you start a row, whether it's the right side or the wrong side, you work the first stitch. And then after you slide it off of the needle, pull that working yarn nice and tight to get that nice crisp edge stitch. And I promise you are going to thank me later, because it's going to make it so much easier to work with those stitches when you move on to the next part of your project. If you love learning new knitting tips and tricks, make sure to like and follow me here on YouTube so you'll be the first to know when new videos are available.